Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, the federal government drags former ministers Dan Etete and Mohamed Adoke to court over complicity in illegal oil deals. Vice President Oshibajo advocates proper care and respect for migrants across the world. Lassa fever rears its head again. Ogun State's health authorities confirm fresh case in Abeokuta. And Islamic State claims responsibility for the lorry attack on Berlin Christmas market, which claimed 12 lives.
On business news tonight, financial experts brainstorm on the 2017 budget proposal at the Channels-Chevening Economic Roundtable.
On sports news tonight, a former FIFA executive member, Amos Adamu, faces another ban from all football-related activities over alleged breach of the football body's rules.
I'm Linda Kibe, and from Abuja, Civil Society Coalition asked Nigerians to demand transparency and accountability from federal lawmakers over the National Assembly's budgets.
We begin tonight with Vice President Yemi Oshibajo asking the international community to show more respect and care for migrants across the world. The Vice President made this known today in Abuja at the annual National Migration Dialogue. He also identified internal conflicts and terrorist attacks as factors forcing people to flee their countries of origin.
It is the annual National Migration Dialogue as experts on migration issues gathered in Abuja to discuss the challenges of migration. Vice President of Nigeria calls for a proper documentation of migrants, especially forced migrants.
Most forced migration in recent years have been of people coming from developing countries in a flight to safety or to more stable countries. But more problematic to more developed societies, and I think the guest speaker pointed this out. The dramatic appearance, for instance, of 1 million Syrian refugees on the doorsteps of Europe created tremendous problems for the European community and countries in that region.
The Federal Commissioner of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons stressed the need for a holistic approach to issues of migration, just as the Swiss ambassador to Nigeria pledges to support Nigeria in addressing challenges of migration.
The dialogue was inspired by the need to go beyond the rhetoric of just observing the International Migrants Day to include evolving concrete and practical approach in raising awareness about the Nigerian migratory landscape.
This partnership, that's a collaboration between the Swiss Development Cooperation Agency and the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and IDPs, started in 2014.
The chief of mission of the International Organization for Migration reels out statistics of migrants who die daily trying to pass through illegal routes.
Irregular migration along the central Mediterranean route from West Africa to Europe is increasingly dangerous for migrants. So far in 2016, an estimated 4,700 migrants have been reported missing or dead in Mediterranean Sea.
Experts at the event, however, agree that migration enhances regional and global integration. Policy coherence in migration governance and managing migrants and displaced persons is therefore an imperative for global peace.
The President has signed 8 bills into law. They include a National Judicial Institute Amendment Act 2016, the Advertising Practitioners Registration Amendment Act 2016, the Utilities Charges Commission Amendment Act 2016, and the Quality Surveyors Registration Amendment Act 2016. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Senator Ita Enang, who spoke to State House correspondents, said other bills signed into law are the Small and Medium Scale Industries Development Agency Amendment Act 2016, Treaty to establish the African Economic Community relating to Pan-African Parliament Amendment Act 2016, University of Abuja Amendment Act 2016, and the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers Amendment Act 2016. Also today, President Muhammadu Buhari met with the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The meeting, which was held behind closed doors, lasted about 45 minutes. Financial analysts, including some Chevening alumni, have discussed the intended and unintended consequences of Nigeria's 2017 budget. During a roundtable focused on next year's fiscal spending plan, the experts were of the view that the appropriation bill can only stabilize the economy, but cannot place the country on the path to growth. Our correspondent, Harriet Agbin, reports.
The 2017 budget presented last week by President Muhammadu Buhari to the joint session of the National Assembly is one bill still attracting comments from the analyst community. On Monday, the details of the budget was outlined by the Budget Minister, Udoma Udo Udoma. And today, Channels Television, in collaboration with experts from the Chevening Alumni Association of Nigeria, organized a roundtable of opinion on the budget and the economy. The panel consists of some Chevening alumni, as well as financial and energy analysts.
The current budget is a reflection of some of the savings, some of the efficiencies that has been gained from the 2016 budget.
Everything seems to be public sector driven. When you read the budget, the factors and forces that will unleash the power of the private sector really are practically absent. Liberalization and deregulation.
5 trillion on recurrent, 2 trillion on capex, which is about 7 billion from an infrastructure gap of $360 billion. We are basically trying to just halt the slide.
The situation with the oil price is really quite fragile. I know we expect $60 oil in the market, but if you look at what America is also doing with their hike of interest rates as well, which is strengthening the dollar, it's sort of counteracting the supply situation in the market.
The experts tend to agree that the budget has some economic potentials, but their chief concern was government's ability to implement the budget to the letter.
From what I've seen in the 2017 budget, it's not a bad idea in terms of concept, in terms of a promise, and in terms of its determination, or the determination of Nigerian leaders to take us out of this doldrum. But my fear is policy somersaults.
The very best you can hope to achieve, even if all the assumptions were right, is to probably get a stabilization.
Well, my concern is actually that beyond the issue of a expansionary budget which the government has adopted, we also need to look at what's happening in the private sector.
The 2017 budget comes with high level of optimism to stabilize the economy. Investors can only hope that this element of the budget is greeted with a business-friendly approach. Harriet Agbinyi, Channels Television News.
From business to health, authorities in Ogun State have confirmed a fresh case of Lassa fever. The victim is an assistant chief nursing officer at the Federal Medical Center in Abeokuta, the state capital. The State Commissioner for Health, Mr. Babatunde Ikpaye, who confirmed the incident, says about 196 primary and secondary contacts with the victim are being monitored. Mr. Ikpaye explained that the primary source of the new case is not yet known. He adds that the investigation is ongoing and necessary precautions are being taken to curtail the spread of the disease.
It was a suspected case that was reported on Saturday to us. Unfortunately, that patient had been managed at the Federal Medical Center for about a week before they incidented at the State Ministry of Health, the Epi Department.
This is the first of its kind, an intersectoral town hall meeting at the Presidential Villa, where youths have been invited to ask questions on the economy and development at the federal level.
7 ministers, including the ministers of Works and Housing, Agriculture and Labour and Productivity, are on the hot seat.
But I apologize for the mix-up, but that was the federal government which has promised to end the ongoing economic recession by 2017. This was made known by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, at a gathering of youths at a town hall meeting in Abuja. She said several economic palliatives have been provided in the 2017 budget to strengthen the economy through improved public-private partnerships.
This is the first of its kind, an intersectoral town hall meeting at the presidential villa where youths have been invited to ask questions of the economy and development at the federal level. 7 ministers, including the ministers of Works and Housing, Agriculture and Labour and Productivity, are on the hot seat, and key among issues raised are economic recession and how agriculture, infrastructural development and funding for small businesses will ensure Nigeria will come out of recession by 2017.
More than 1 million Nigerians are set to get loans at very low interest rates through the Bank of Industry. The loans range from 20,000 to 100,000 per beneficiary. The pilot scheme is taking place in 8 states and here in the Federal Capital Territory.
How do you access this huge fortune of $22 billion? By going into agriculture. If this country cannot feed herself, every dream of greatness will come to nothing.
The Minister of Works and Housing says sabotage of the economy must stop, even as the Finance Minister assures the budget will bring recovery and growth.
We can't afford to rely on oil. We must feed ourselves, we must clothe ourselves, we must create that enabling infrastructure that will enable the economy to grow outside of oil. And that's really what this government is focused on.
It means that we must roll up our sleeves and work very hard to get back to growth, because the price of oil is going to go up, but we will not benefit from it if we can't produce.
After 13 months in office, these ministers say the road has been rough, made so by lack of funds to appropriately run the economy. They, however, say that recovery is imminent with better labour relations, better infrastructural development plans, improved electricity supply and improved well-being of Nigerians. Omelogo, Nadi, Channels Television News.
In part 2 after the break, Arik Air announces resumption of flights after its workers had earlier shut down its operations over non-payment of salaries. Please stay with us.